Welcome to Yogea Asana Lab. This series is especially geared towards providing you with valuable tips for your anatomical and energetic alignment. You will learn how to come in and out of poses safely and smoothly. Today, we feature 3 hip openers: King Pigeon, Eka Pada Raja Kapotasana, Bull Seat, Gomukhasana, and Vamadevasana, ankle to knee. So let's start with King Pigeon. We'll take it from a lunge as we want to get the hips and the psoas open to go deeper into pigeon. So take a low lunge. Untitled. Move your right knee into the midline and hold your left glute with your left hand. Bring everything in, right? There will be a tendency to open and splay everything out. We want to keep it nice and square. The hips are square. This is the action of pigeon. Now, right thumb into the right hip crease. Start to open the spine and then exhale, forward bend. Feel the left psoas stretching. Inhale, breathe. Exhale, release. Gently round your spine, inhale, but keep the tailbone reaching down, crown of the head reaching up. Inhale one more time, and exhale, go a little deeper, inhale. One more breath, and exhale. Now frame your foot with your hands, curl the back foot under. Transfer your weight. Thread the right leg partially so you can lower down into the top of the foot, the ankle joint, the shin, the knee, your thigh. And once you uncurl the back foot, take a moment to shift your weight from right to left, just testing where your edge is and what you want to work on. So as you bring your right thumb into your right hip, draw it back. Pigeon is performed with the hips squared. So we want to have the same action as we did for the low lunge. Press your left hand into the glute. Now lengthen here. It might be a little hard to arch, so let's keep the spine long and keep the squared hip action going. Once you have this hip squared, bring your hands down. Start to drop through the left groin. As you press the hands into the floor, notice how your right hip moves back and your left hip moves forward. So this action of oppositional pull here in pigeon. Depending on your flexibility, start to release down into your forearms. Keep on rocking right and left. Breathe here. You'll already feel the stretch in your right hip and glute. And if you want to go a little bit deeper, you can release the third eye into the floor. Bring your hands into prayer and point the fingertips down into your spine. So breathing here in pigeon. Most of the times we naturally tip either left or right. Here, we want to square the hips. So place your hands on your sacrum, pull the right hip back and the left hip front. Notice how the groin naturally drops here. And breathe. You can extend the arms, you can lift the head, all possible variations here. Inhale and exhale. As you deepen the breath, notice how your hip begins to open. One more breath, inhale and exhale. To come out of pigeon, press the floor away, lengthen your spine, and most of the time it feels good to swing the leg that was extended and come into ankle to knee. This way the stretch goes into the other hip. So ankle to knee is pretty challenging most of the times, and as the hips tighten, the knee naturally tends to come up. So what we want to do is avoid pressing the knee down, but actually first think of the grounding of the sit bones and the lengthening of the spine. Once we have this nice and even, squared, neutral hip alignment, we will slowly start to tip right and left and to move front and back. So just testing here, opening space in the pelvis, taking little circles, making sure both heels are flexing so that we're protecting the knee joint. And once we have more space in the hips, we can slowly start to forward bend, but not until we have this action of grounding, of lifting and expanding through the collarbone. The ribs are soft. As we start to forward bend, we remind ourselves to ground back and down. So the oppositional pull applies here too. Start to walk your hands down. It may be enough to just bring your forearms down as if you're doing ankle to knee sphinx. You'll already feel the stretch in the hip. Or if you want to go a little bit deeper, walk your fingertips forward and drop the head. You'll feel the stretch deeply in your left hip. Now, as you do this, there's an action of the sit bones going back and down. Press your hands and pull yourselves back. Take one more breath here in ankle to knee. And release. As you inhale to come out of it, always stretch your spine, lengthen first, walk the hands closer to the knees, ground through the sit bones, feel the spaciousness, and we'll go directly into bull seat, Gomukhasana. And bull seat is a tricky pose as well because we want to stack knee over knee, but we also want to get both sit bones grounding. So the tendency here will be to hike up the knee and to lift the sit bone from the floor. We first want to get that action, even if the leg is here. Just bring the sit bones down. Once you're here, square them. Feel the sit bones are squaring, the spine is lifting, the tailbone is dropping down. The spine is nice and neutral. Now from here, begin to forward bend. You'll feel the hips stretching already. Or you might feel the stretch here. If you feel that you have a little more room in the hip joints without compromising the sit bones and their groundedness, stack knee over knee. Keep on flexing through your feet. Start to forward bend. Make sure that as you're forward bending, you're not lifting the sit bones off from the ground, but you're actually grounding them even more. So exhale and bull seat. Shoulders away from the ears. Start to breathe into the forward bend as your hip opening here. And exhale. If you wish to go a little deeper, you may want to drop the forearms down. And with this action, press into the hands and push back. Yes, the spine will round naturally here. Take one more breath in bull seat. If you were further up into the pose and the knees didn't stack perfectly, one on top of the other, just make sure that your hips are squared, you're pressing the sit bones down, dropping the shoulders down, and lengthening through the spine. You'll already feel the hip stretch here. Right? To come out of bull seat, gently rock to the right, open your leg, and just come into a neutral butterfly. So we have concluded 3 very important hip openers. Is there any pose you'd like to explore with us? Please write to us and we'll take it here at Yogea Asana Lab.